Well, here we are, overlooking the Golden Gate Bridge. Not really. I'm live from the Wellspring Studio in downtown Aiken, South Carolina. I'm waiting for the arrival of the participants, and I'm more than pleased to speak on what you think about shapes the way you are. We'll be talking about power-focused intent, personal programming, and our default program that we've worked on most of our life. I believe that in this particular situation, the participants will pop in. I have not arranged to bring them in from a waiting room or anything like that. So if you see this on eBay as a rebroadcast, you'll know that you just click on the link and you will be seeing us live, recorded live, of course, and get the same kind of information that the participants got today. Well, a pause for the cause there as my wife entered the studio and was searching for something to send to one of the grandsons. We will shortly get underway as more participants arrive, and some will be listening to this live on their cell phone without the video part. Participants will be muted and their comments noted only through the chat box. This particular video and live stream is a test set. That's why we're offering it for free. We will give some information and some opportunities to pursue that information at a later time. I think somebody else just entered the picture. My clock has 10 minutes until 2 at this time, and we'll be waiting on some further participants. And at the top of the hour at 2 p.m., we will go right into the slideshow with whoever has chosen to attend. Again, this is a promotional event where we'll be testing some of our techniques, content, and outreach to help others. Well, we're at the top of the hour. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast. This is Bob Bryant, certified life coach and licensed professional counselor. I'm coming to you from the Wellspring Studios here in lovely Aiken, South Carolina. It would be nice to be out on the West Coast looking at the Golden Gate, but hey, so goes real life. Today, we're going to be talking about what you think about shapes who you are. It may shape how you show up on time or sort of linger in, sneak in the back door, or come in and, like many mental health professionals used to do, start saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and they're waving their hands and, "Hey, I'm late, everybody," as if no one knew that. They used to say that in groups of that sort, that some people were ready and spot on right there, uh, had their A game on. Others were sort of getting ready, and others were getting ready to get ready. So, whichever group folks fit into, that's sort of their own game plan. Today, we'll be talking a little bit about power focused intent, which is one of our programs, and personal programming. These topics are key in an economy that's gone wild, a social atmosphere that has just literally gone bonkers. And with the COVID-19 virus, making it sort of dangerous for people to go out and explore and do the things they want to do. At this time, I'm going to share my screen and go right into the presentation. I'll try to keep to a 50-minute hour, and I'll also have this thing recording so that you can see it again on YouTube. The only thing that will be missing is the free gift. The free gift was something for coming today on time and staying to the end of the presentation. So there we are, and here we go. We're going to share the screen like right now. We're going to go over to this little screen right here and share it, which is a slide presentation. And it's, let's see if we can get it up here on the screen. Ah, there we go. And we can see me a little bit there in the upper right-hand column. We are wellspringcta.com. And our philosophy is changing the world one person at a time. We can't convince you that you have a need for change. Only you can do that. If your way isn't working, why not try ours? Out with the old and in with the new. We would like to welcome you to our live feed. I'll move me up just a little bit here. And I'm really pleased to bring a focused, intentional look at how to supercharge your life experience and reach your goals with little to no effort. It may even seem that they are happening automatically. And I think I'll space these letters out here automatically or not automatically. I've already introduced myself, Bob Bryant, certified life coach and personal programmer. I'm also a licensed professional counselor here in South Carolina. We want to help you embrace a philosophy of out with the old and in with the new. And this is only true if you are struggling with some things in your life and you want to go to another level. You want to reach upward. You want to step up. We want you to be into a new kind of philosophy and new thinking and believing system that allows you to reach for those dreams that you've stored away or simply given up on. When I was in one of the network marketing constellations some years back, that was their whole piece was that here I am and I'm reaching up and I'm reaching out to uh, collect those dreams that I sort of stored away or that I just said, well, that's never going to happen. I dreamed of being a professional business person, and now I'm teaching part-time music lessons in the suburbs, and that's just not the way I wanted to turn out. Have you ever thought of that? That life is not turning out the way you imagined in high school or in college? Those dreams that saw you doing great things, that felt successful and made you just smile every time you had those daydreams. This kind of reflection and introspection was what led me on my own uh, path to discovering what I call power focused intent. Now, the key word here is intentional. Many people do not live their lives on purpose. They are battered around by the winds that blow, and as Abraham, not Maslow, but the Abraham studies, as he said, floating like a cork on the ocean and just being bobbed around here and there and around the square. And the person I was referring to was Esther Hicks, who supposedly channels Abraham Hicks. Now, this is what we'll be talking about today. Do you have a roadmap for your life? Did you start out with one that said, okay, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to focus my studies in these areas. After I graduate, I will explore these jobs, these businesses, or these opportunities. We're going to talk about how to create your own powerful roadmap without beating your head against a rock wall or wandering around in the wilderness of uncharted territory. Now, what is uncharted territory? It's just sort of wandering around like a college student I know who just graduated. He's just out there feeling the world, feeling his feelings, and exploring whatever comes up. Now, that sounds pretty good. You know, it's experientially, it feels good. Might even think right if you keep saying that it's good to yourself enough times. You know, it's like going to the circus. You get to see all the acts in the three ring circus. Now, of course, that was the Barnum and Bailey circus, the greatest show on earth. Well, your life should be the greatest show on earth without wandering around from ring to ring to ring, wandering out to see the animals and doing all this stuff. And at the end of the day, you're no more developed or advanced than you were the day before. Zig Ziglar used to say, if you don't set some goals today, when you wake up in the morning, you'll be no further ahead and no closer to the goals that you don't have than you are today. That's kind of a scary thought. Now, some people think by nature they are cosmonauts or just exploring the universe and exploring the world. And then, you know, when you're 60 years old, how does that feel then? As you reflect back, how does it look to you? The second thing is how to create the kind of energy to launch yourself into action. COVID-19 has taken a toll on a lot of folks. It's zapped their energy. And they're looking here and there and finally settling down into a comfortable chair, lingering around their yards. Or perhaps they're out there opening things up and doing some things that might endanger their health. I don't know. But we're going to show you how to create a kind of energy to launch yourself into action without memorizing thousands of motivational rules or repeating some kind of a mantra or affirmation 10 times a day until your head is spinning around and around. The third thing that we're going to look at is how to remain focused while blazing this trail or path to your ideal self without getting lost in the madness that's going on around you. And here in good old 2020, I think there's a lot of madness going on. Now, if you think you're going mad by seeing the back of my chair flashing in and out behind you, you're not. The uh, screen behind me just doesn't comply with this camera. So eventually you'll see the back of the chair that I'm sitting in. So hang out with us until the end of this presentation. And I have a special gift for you that you may download from our website at Wellspring CTA, that's Counseling and Training Associates.com. So hang out with us. We're going to have some fun here. We're going to join hands like in this picture here. And we're going to fly. We're going to soar. You know, soar with the eagles rather than strut around on the ground with the turkeys, right? Here we go. You know, there are a lot of modern day gurus, coaches, and guides in our world, and the numbers are only growing daily. They're growing. I'll move me up just a little bit here so you can read. The traditional folks would be folks like Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar. Now, if you're younger folks, Zig Ziglar probably would not be a name that you know. He was the gentleman motivator of all times. He started out in the life insurance business and saw that he was better at training people than he was in actually making sales. And he developed his own motivational system that he gave to you over the years, a piece at a time. Earl Nightingale. You are what you think about all day long. That basically made Nightingale millions of dollars. Now, Nightingale gleaned that from scripture. What a man purposeth in his heart, that's what he becomes. And he was good at adapting that concept to both spiritual and secular audiences. Bob Proctor was another guy that he was going to show you how to live in abundance. You may have read his book, You Were Born Rich. And as I say that, you may be thinking, well, wait a minute. You know, I was born rich, well, where's my money? Jim Rohn, the same kind of guy, cut from the same cloth. When I saw him live, he revealed that he was the yo-yo champion of Canada. That was great. He did some yo-yo tricks that I used to try as a lad, walking the dog and around the world and doing all these sorts of things with the yo-yo so he could get you going. His big pitch was that if you're going to win, you got to want the prize. Now, for you, there may be no prize in sight. I don't know. I don't know what prize you have set for yourself. But the prize for him was a sweater. It was sort of like one of those letter sweaters that we got in high school. But if you're going to win, you got to want the prize. Tony Robbins, the man. Tony started out sharing time with Fran Tarkington on television. And Fran was a clinical psychologist who also played for the Minnesota Vikings as their quarterback years before. Tony branched out from that and began to learn neuro-linguistic program. And from this, he created a series of road shows that were absolutely dynamic, and they were entertaining. And Tony guaranteed that you would have some kind of change from that. I recall some friends of mine from Charlotte, North Carolina, went to one of his fire walk experiences. Wow. I'm not walking across any hot coals. I don't know about you, but they tried it. The gentleman who was my friend, he was able to do that. And I don't know whether his feet were burned, but he was supposedly in such a focused state of mind that he did not feel the pain from the fire. His wife went across the coals and she's going, oh, 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 and jumped off of the coals and went to the medical tent. That's not funny, but you know, uh, I would have just stepped aside and not tried that. We also have the non-traditional group, which included Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, and Nick Ortner. Nick Ortner. Nick Ortner wrote The Tapping Solution, if you want to browse the internet and read up on that. But Wayne and Deepak were more into spiritual kinds of living, produce the satisfaction that you were seeking out of your life. And these two men believed that with this type of consciousness, this kind of thinking and belief system, that you would draw the things to you that you really wanted. That was one of the confusing things about their styles. Some of the more recent people include Dean Grossi and Russell Brunson. They paired up with Tony Robbins now, and he's now doing non-traditional because his road shows are kind of closed down due to COVID-19. John Gabriel is a man akin to Nick Ortner, using meditation, tapping, and those sorts of things. And Wayne Crow would be more the Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor type person, showing you how to dominate. And I think we got a lot of dominators now. So, I just sort of move aside and use my own programming to move to the levels that I want to go. We could also add Dr. Joe Vitale and Dr. Steve G. Jones. They began in the hypnosis world and found themselves moving more into the thinking of Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra. Each one of these folks had their own unique message. I could even add Les Brown into that crew, because Les Brown was building from his own experience and showing you how he had overcome things and assuring you that you could overcome the same things. But similar to the other folks, his unique message was a formula for enhancing your life, increasing your performance, and getting more enjoyment from living. They all want to take you to the next step or the next level in your development. The steps are often very intricate and hard to follow. I mean, if you couldn't complete the firewalk, I don't know if you could go forward from there, but I'm not sure that's a fair comparison. They don't seem to give you any measuring stick for your progress. However, they're talking about the same thing. They're talking about learned behaviors which become a part of the automatic mind, and the hypnotist folks call that the unconscious mind. Now, if we could all reach in and start just twisting the dials on that, focusing it, calibrating it, and making a different default mode, then we wouldn't need anyone's help to rearrange that material. Think about what you did this morning. It was probably the same routine that you've had during COVID. It may even have been the same routine that you had before the virus. Some of the folks who are getting out there and, getting sick, some of them, and doing some dangerous things, some of them are doing the same thing they did before the virus and wondering why the results are dangerous and sometimes lethal. I've studied most of the materials and or studied with some of the above people myself when researching for a workable, viable, streamlined path to my own success. Now, I'm going to tell you that I said there's a lot of people out there, some of the new people entering the field of human growth, personal programming, and the like. These people are musicians who have proclaimed themselves a psychotherapist, dentists, surgeons, educators, and they are now this new criteria for personal coaches. The list could go on, and their claims could be stacked sky high. If you stack them end to end, it may go around the world. Well, then, out with the old and in with the new. Enter Wellspring Coaching and Training Associates. We would like you to be able to launch into the stratosphere, launch as high as you can go and sail just like this hot air balloon. But you notice rather than paddling the balloon or having a propeller or anything like that, basically, this thing will go where you aim it, and it will rise by gassing the balloon more and more so it goes higher. Don't get me wrong. Some folks have not been able to steer these things and crash them, but in our format here, think about in your own mind just soaring above all the roar, all the confusion, all of the people who are saying they're victims of this or that. And there are some real victims of floods, victims of attacks, break-ins, robbery, etc. But I'm not talking about that group of people. I'm talking about some people who have, through their own mental programming, made some excuses for themselves and their lack of development that they are victims and nothing can change. A person who is near and dear to me messages me on Facebook almost daily, telling me that she's doing God's work, and she may be, I don't know, and that God has asked her to suffer and take on the pain of Jesus. Well, Jesus died in pain and agony, but he rose again and he's living and he doesn't have all that pain and stuff going on. So again, creating a mindset, a belief system that seems to create these labels for oneself and these courses of action. You know, you are a product of your choices. You are. I mean, you can either be in that balloon soaring into the sky, or you can be down here on the ground being beat, bopped around by everything that comes by. You make the choices, the people you choose, the places you go, the things that you choose to believe in. You may have been a wide-eyed adventurer once, and everything seemed to point towards success. However, as the journey continued, you begin to take some roads. Maybe they were less traveled, maybe they were shortcuts that went anywhere, nowhere, trails, or even superhighways that leads you away from your primary vision. It seems to me that that's a good enough explanation. In 1984, I suddenly just came wide awake and wondered what the heck I was doing. And I want to say that at the time, I was the manager of a clinic in a hospital where I was uh, the clinical director. I was making a decent wage, but I thought, well, this isn't what I really want. Looks like somebody just joined our merry band of marauders. And also, the battery on this machine is running low. So if I can take just about a 2-minute break and I'm going to plug this thing in so I don't just go kablooey on you. So enjoy the view of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'll be right back. For those of you who joined late, you can look over on the slides to the side, and it looks like we're on slide number 6 at this time. Well, I'm back. The first and probably best line of defense for your own personal change is awareness. That means that every mistake you make is not fatal, and that you begin to adjust your fire to hit the right mark. Most of my personal programming this morning was on presentation. And of course, I did not program in the factors for equipment. Now, back to our knitting. In 1984, I suddenly came full awake. I became full awake, and I realized that what I was doing was not satisfying what I felt I needed to do. I guess I'd realized that the year before. If you can relate to that, type yes in the comments box. The method that I used during that time was wearing me thin. It was straining my relationships and physical health. I seemed to be concentrating on income and not how I wanted to use my talents. I felt my talents could be used to help others. And during that period of time, in 1985, I decided to form Wellspring Associates, a counseling agency. But that was not the best direction for me. It was at this time, at this point, that I began looking deeper into hypnosis, emotional freedom technique, and neuro linguistic programming. The study of these areas did not help me focus my direction for the new Wellspring. I was still depending on my conscious mind to provide answers and steer me in a new direction. I began meditating daily and found a new calm and a peace, but still no progress in changing course. I've been a behavioral scientist for over 30 years, and I'm telling you these facts to illustrate how power focused intent came to be. This is my cornerstone for helping others change. The answer was to create a new thinking and belief system and establish a system of automatic actions. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to deliberate or argue with yourself or deal with all the thoughts that go through your head in a day. The answer basically was to create a new me. Power focused intent. There were a few key people that affirmed my newfound knowledge. Now, believe it or not, Steve Jones, a hypnotist, Joe Vitale, also a hypnotist, and Wayne Dyer were key in affirming power focused intent. And you notice I've got PSI there. It's supposed to be PFI. So much for my journey. Let's look at what others have to say about my discovery and how it helped them. It helped them to become a human dynamo like that waterfall there. Look at it. It's soft, it's flexible, yet it's moving and powerful. And here's what they had to say. Chris C., and you notice I've used only last initials because of the confidentiality. I saw these people in a clinical setting. Says that my sessions were phenomenal. This technique helped her to stop smoking, manage a desirable weight, and also to be more focused and concentrated in other areas of her life. Shayla M. says, I stopped smoking in one session with one follow-up appointment to deal with cravings. This session also changed my food plan and helped me to begin a good exercise program. Tom D. says, programming restored and enhanced my musical performance abilities. Tom had some dental problems that messed with his embouchure. He was a brass player and thought, well, he could never play his instrument again. And it brought back his love for music and performance. Sandra P. says that programming helped her to reach her ideal weight without beating herself up with mega exercise and starving herself to death. Ron K., a close friend of mine, he says that programming turned him into a super salesman. He was getting more leads, prospects, and sales. The sessions helped his lifestyle and his income. And if I get tongue-tied, don't be hating on me. Robin C. says that she became more outgoing, meeting new people, was able to focus on her goals. She's now able to move forward and stop hanging on to the past. Everett says, I was able through programming sessions to return to playing my instrument and musical performance that I love. These folks discovered the PFI path, and I spelled it right that time, and they worked through our methods when other methods did not work. And I'll clarify here and say that you can call us for an online session where I can see you and you can see me. You can call us at 803-295, and that number will come up again, 803-295-6631. And most of my clients have remarked, why did I have to wait so long? Now, I'm not into dissing other methods or other professionals. And so I would just say, well, we've streamlined this and power focused it to your needs. And this becomes your program, not mine. You won't be doing things like me. A gentleman the other day was telling me he was taking another course. And he now, to stop himself from doing things that were off kilter from his goals, he would clap his hands like Tony Robbins. Well, okay, and maybe I can jump up in the air like some acrobat. I don't know, but that doesn't seem like it would do much. You clap your hands like Tony Robbins, or you take on the characteristics of maybe Zig Ziglar when he said, "You've got to have goals." I mean, I don't think that would help me or you much either. So let's move right along. I'm going to try to hang with a 50-minute hour here. You'll notice this is the Golden Gate again, which is right behind me. And this is in the fog. It's pretty foggy out there from time to time. And what I would say to you is, wherever you are in your life and whatever your goals are or aren't, you may not even have any. Take the bridge across and get out of the fog. Don't wait. Stop what you're doing now. If you didn't turn off your phone and you've been listening to phone calls and stuff during this training, that's okay with me, because I can't hear your dog barking or the phone ringing or you talking to a friend. And my favorites when I was doing agency work was we would have a training online and you'd hear somebody cussing in the background, or they'd be ordering food at the drive-through. I mean, I just started cackling. Or that while I was doing a training like this on substance abuse, somebody just started singing and then just broke in and said, well, hey, I've been this and that for 30 years. And yeah, well, okay, fine. But that's not going to help you. Today's the day. Take the bridge. Take yourself out of the fog onto a new shore of your new life. Today, I'd like to share 3 secrets or focus points with you. And I've mentioned them before. And for those who stay with us right to the very end, I've got a special gift for you and some other opportunities. So hang out with us right down to the end. The first secret is, and this speaks to what Zig Ziglar's whole piece was about, was having goals, but a powerful map that's about you. It's about you. And to create that roadmap without beating your head against a rock wall or just wandering around in the wilderness, sort of like picking daisies in the field, or we used to go down from our farmhouse and pick strawberries down in the patch, and we'd have to wander around through several other groups of crops to get down to the strawberries. You must have goals that are related to what you really want out of your life. This always amazed me. I would ask a question of various groups that I did while in a counseling capacity. And it looks like we're right on track time wise. So, anyway, I would ask the question, what is it that you really deserve? And there was a deadly silence over the room. They didn't really know what they deserved. They didn't know what they wanted. And I wondered, well, how did you get this far? How did you get this far? After you leave here, schedule some personal time that is uninterrupted. Turn off the TV, turn off your cell phone, take the landline off the hook if you still have one. Don't answer computer messages. Go into a room where you'll be uninterrupted if you have other people living with you, of course. Put a sign on the door, do not disturb. Now, this technique doesn't take a long time. And I just marveled at it for people that I've given it to over the years. You must have some kind of timing device, stopwatch, clock, etc. You got to have a pen. You got to have some paper. You've got to have the things to record what you're about to do. Now, take about, not right now, but when you get off of this live cast, take about 10 minutes and think about what you want for your life. Then begin to write for about 3 minutes without thinking, without any blockage like, oh, I could never attain that, I could never get that, I could never be that. Throw all that stuff out the window and just write constantly for about 3 minutes. At the end of 3 minutes, stop. What is on that list is of utmost importance, because you're talking to the unconscious mind. It's just giving you stuff like bang, 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 just like that. Take the items or events that you write down at face value and begin building your goals or roadmap around them. It's powerful stuff. Now, for our next secret, because you're building here, you're building something. And look at the house that you're building. Build it thoughtfully, intentionally, and with your focus on that one thing. You can't build this while you're looking through your emails, your voice messages, your text messages. You can't build this while you're driving your car. Build it thoughtfully, intentionally, and very much focused. Now, secret number 2. Without energy, you can't do anything. I mean, if you're just drug out all the time, could be because you're not sleeping well with the COVID piece going on and that you're just bored out of your tree. We can help you with that at the live help piece by calling the phone number 803-295-6631. Create the kind of energy to launch yourself. I mean, just like you remember the runner that was at the Olympics and he'd draw back his bow and he launched the arrow into the air. That was after each victory. Okay? To launch yourself into action without memorizing a bunch of hokey rules or thousands of motivational proverbs or repeating some kind of mantra or affirmation 10 times a day. I remember when I went to the Hoover Institute, which was a hypnotic institute, to learn hypnosis and emotional freedom technique, which in those days was called thought field therapy. If you want to Google any of those things up and read up on them, it will help you about as much as it helped me if you've got, oh, I don't know, 10 or 20 years to put these things together. What we've done here at Wellspring is we've taken the pieces of the puzzle from here, and we put them together so that you don't have to go searching around in the dark without a light. Some interesting tools to use in your building project are hypnosis. You can find that on our website, wellspringcta.com. Some things that will put you in a relaxed listening state. Neurolinguistic programming. You can take a course on that. And EFT, or emotional freedom technique, and that's Nick Ortner's tapping. You may also employ techniques from older traditions like Qigong or Qi energy building techniques, which work with the breath. You can also get that on the trombone website, which is breathing techniques for brass musicians, okay? You may also employ techniques that are just breath builders. You may need to employ someone such as Wellspring to coach or direct you in these building steps. In short, you must build an automatic process or engine that drives you. It drives your thoughts and beliefs. Failure to do this, well, pretty much it results in a process similar to leaving on a long trip without a map or any gasoline in your car. Wellspring Associates has streamlined for you the process. They've done for personal programming what Bruce Lee and Sensei Tomiki, I'm an Aikido stylist, so Tomiki was our sensei, did for martial arts style. We condense years of searching and trial and error to an exact focused process that yields results and faster action. And no, that's not the DUI commercial guy either. But from that, you can soar. You can have the energy to fly effortlessly, to mount up to higher heights, to join the eagles rather than strutting around on the ground with the turkeys. Well, we're doing pretty good so far. Number 3, maintain a laser focus. Some of my close friends can't get focused enough to even listen in a conversation. Their head is so busy. Have you ever laid down to sleep at night and your head is just filled with all kinds of stuff going over and over and over and over and over, and you just can't turn your head off? Well, oftentimes that's what we're doing in our day, because we have a lot of people impinging on our space, time, etc. And so we're suggesting to maintain a laser focus while creating your ideal life without being overwhelmed by the activities around you. Brother there and sister, there's a lot of stuff going on around us right now. The secret requires 15, 20 minutes when you begin your day to zero in on the target or goals for this day. You must see it in your mind as if it's already happened. That this seminar was successful hours ago. Feel the feelings of successful goal completion. Hear what others are saying around you because of your success, focus, and dedication. And I am here. Wow, this has really been helpful, man. This was a really cool seminar. Once again, Wellspring can provide you the tools and assistance to put you on this new path. Discovery of this path can be quite an adventure. Are you guys enjoying this information and the description of the journey to be your best self? If so, type yes in the comments box. Is everyone feeling the value of this discovery and seeing a fit for yourself? Type yes if that's true. When I worked at a clear path, I began feeling more confident, more peaceful, knew exactly what to do. Does that make sense? Type yes if it does. Is this piquing your interest in getting a stronger sense of hope to reach your dreams? Let me know in the chat box. Let's take a moment and look at valuable information that we have given to you today. That information is the roadmap, the direction, and it's got to be, as our friend Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson at Bright Light Eating says, it's got to be like a line in the sand that says, okay, this is it. This is the direction. Maybe it even has an arrow pointing that way. Stop right now. Stop doing the same behaviors, thinking the same way, and seeing the world through a belief system that's not serving you well. Once you focus on this new direction, that's number two, you must possess the mental energy to launch, to make it happen. Otherwise, it becomes a fatiguing exercise like pounding railroad spikes with a sledgehammer. You remember John Henry? He was a steel driving man, and he beat the steam engine into the ground driving spikes. Well, if that's your idea of success, then go for it. Most importantly, maintaining that laser focus. You know, horses, when we used to plow with them many, many years ago, had blinders on like this. Now, why was that true? So they could see this trail they're going on and not look off over here, or you know, so that the plow is just you couldn't get a straight row that way. Okay, get that focus without being overwhelmed by activities around you. Wellspring can help you streamline this process. Take away all the stress and strain and put you in your zone and start stacking up victory after victory. Comment in the chat box below. Check it out. You may not have known this. I didn't until I learned it from Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson. Willpower and its cognitive components lasts only 15 minutes per application. Would you rather use the new way, the automatique, or the old way? I focus for 15 minutes and then I'll check back in with you. Okay. Last but not least, so now you've seen that you must have a viable roadmap, a mental program that drives you, and a focus that is unswervable. Finding this stream as valuable? Comment below in the chat box. Check it out. What you've experienced here today, we're about to wrap up just like the old psychotherapist starts winding down. But I'm your friend, Bob, personal life coach. Check it out. What you've experienced here is less than 5% of how we can better serve you. One of the ways is going deeper than we have in this brief presentation. If there's a way that I could provide you with more value, would you be interested in that? If you have interest, comment in the chat box. You can reach us in the daytime, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 803-295-6631. Or you may go to our website, wellspringcta.com. I put something special for those of you who were full-time in your efforts and stuck with us to the last. And here it is, right here. You see the arrow going down to it. This link will download you the book I wrote on personal programming. It's an ebook. You can also visit our website and go to gifts and download that, wellspringcta.com. And I have arranged for today and Sunday 50% off of any of the items that are for sale there. This offer is limited and does not exceed past 10/11 of this year at midnight. Prices then will return to everyday price. Thank you for dropping in. And I'll say this, we're doing a lot of experimenting, moving from the brick and mortar walk-in face-to-face therapy to an electronic virtual process. And we are happy to serve you. I will probably be trying some lunch and learn online, and it'll be posted in our group, Thinking to Create Change. So drop in and see us from time to time. And those that are like this webinar and like the lunch and learns that will be in the future are free training. The other forthcoming that are more lengthy will be buy a ticket, and we will announce ticket prices at another time. We've got 1 minute to spare. This is Bob Bryant, personal life coach, signing off and saying, may the rest of your life be the best of your life. See you again.